السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله، صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, today it is Monday, the 19th of Dhul-Qa'adah, 1445, matching the 27th of May, 2024. This is our session number 66, going through the book Al-Jadeed, the new book explaining Kitab, at-Tawheed, along with the original itself, at-Ta'liq الرشيد, the wise commentary on Kitab, at-Tawheed by Sheikh Ali Al-Halbhi rahimahullah ta'ala. And today it is our time to go through the original and at-Ta'liq الرشيد, because we finished the chapter last time. So we're going to go through the original work, inshallah. Bab, a chapter on ما جاء أن سبب كفر بني آدم, what has come regarding that, the reason behind the disbelief, the cause that led to the disbelief of the children of Adam, وتركهم دينهم, and them, the children of Adam, and them abandoning, leaving their religion. هو is, the main reason is الغلو في الصالحين, exaggeration in the righteous people. وقول الله عز وجل, and the statement of Allah عز وجل, يا أهل الكتاب, O people of the book, لا تغلوا في دينكم, do not exaggerate, do not go to the extreme, do not go overboard in your religion. Surah An-Nisa, ayah 171. And the ayah talks about Al-Masih, Isa ibn Maryam. He is only the messenger of Allah and his word that he cast unto Mary, right? So he is the servant of Allah and his messenger. Do not exaggerate and raise him above his status. وفي الصحيح, and in the Sahih, between brackets, the Sheikh put where it is Al-Bukhari 4290. So if you go on Google, you write Bukhari, Bukhari, right? 4290, 4290, sunnah.com. Is it no sound? It should be there. Yes, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Mahbub, do you hear us, inshallah? And Wasim too. Is there sound? You can hear us, inshallah? Tell us if you can. No. No sound? There is sound? Yes, he said yes. Yeah, Wasim said yes. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Wasim. Because last time, the Hajj one, the last lecture, we started with the sound for 8 minutes and then it's gone. Inshallah, maybe tomorrow what I will do is start half an hour earlier and repeat the Hajj lecture. Maybe tomorrow I'll start 7:30 so I can do what we missed today, and then we start. By the time you come, it will be the new. طيب, so في صحيح البخاري حديث 4290. This is an important narration. That's why if you want to go and check it yourself, as I said, in Google you write Bukhari 4290, that's the number of the hadith, sunnah.com, sunnah.com, sunnah.com. This website has the books of hadith, the 6 books, and Muwatta, Riyadh al-Salihin, and mashallah, it's a you find it in Arabic and you will find in English also. So it's a good source of information. So even you want to share this hadith, just share it with others and circle, send it around so people will see it. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما. This is not a hadith, يعني not a statement of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, is a statement of Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنهما, the famous, knowledgeable scholar who learned some from Sayyidina Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, and he added to his knowledge because he was young when Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم died. Abdullah ibn Abbas was like 15 years old, something like that. But he added to his knowledge the knowledge that he collected from the companions. And in the Sahih also, that Abdullah ibn Abbas, he told one of the Ansar, let's go around and get the knowledge from those companions. He said, you think that the people will need your knowledge, Ibn Abbas? Yani when he was a young man, a young man. But he did, and that Ansari later on, he said he's wiser than me, because Abdullah ibn Abbas became what? Because a leading scholar, not just they call him al-Bahr. Al-Bahr means the sea. Yani. Al-Habr, they call him. Al-Habr, yani someone who's really scholarly. Right? Yani, mashallah. So this scholar, especially in tafsir, he was known for tafsir. Of course, fiqh and hadith, but tafsir, he was yani, specialized, and he stands out in tafsir. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said regarding the statement of Allah Ta'ala, في قول الله تعالى, وقالوا, this is in Surah Nuh, ayah number 23. وقالوا, and they said, this is the people of Nuh. لا تذرن آلهتكم, do not leave, do not forsake. لا تذرن, do not leave, do not forsake, do not abandon your gods. ولا تذرن, and do not forsake. Now they are mentioning, listing the gods. Wad, Suwa', Yaghuth, Ya'uq, and Nasra. Do not leave them. قال, what are those Wad and Suwa' and Wad and Suwa' and right? قال, he said, هذه أسماء رجال صالحين من قوم نوح. These are the names of righteous men from the people of Nuh. فلما هلكوا, when they died, when they passed away, أوحى الشيطان إلى قومهم. The shaitan inspired their people أن ينصبوا إلى مجالسهم التي كانوا يجلسون فيها أنصابا. أنصبوا, this is the verb imperative. نصب, ينصب, نصب, right? أنصبوا in the plural now, command, imperative. Set up, build a structure, right? أنصابا, this is the noun now, right? When the structure that they build, after they build it, they call it nusub, nusub, and the plural is ansab, ansab. So whether it is, a structure that's a statue, see, like the Statue of Liberty, you see how they say the French, they gave it as a gift to the Americans. Allah knows, and they do worship it already, but they don't prostrate and but they speak about freedom, that they make freedom more sacred and holy than worshipping Allah. And the real freedom, as Al-Imam Ibn Qayyim says, the real freedom lies in you worshipping Allah. So if you worship Allah alone, then you are free from worshipping anybody else. And he says about the mushrikeen that they ran away from the slavery that they were created for. We are created for ubudiyah, to worship slaves, to be worshippers of Allah. هربوا من الرق الذي خلقوا له. They ran away from the slavery which they were created for. فبلوا برق النفس والشيطان. They were tried then with the slavery to the self, to the soul, and to the shaitan. That's what it is. They want to be free from everything. They don't want to be bound. They don't want to be restricted. This is haram, this is halal. And this is one of the reasons why most of the people don't believe. They may theoretically say, yeah, there has to be a God. Right? Yeah, this cannot come just like out of a sudden like that, coincidence. Right? But for them to believe that God told them, believe in this, don't believe in that, there is a next life, you will be held accountable there, there is this, there is haram, halal, they don't want that. They want to be what? Free. Right? That's what they want to be. That's what it is. So they made this freedom like another God. Right? And everyone has his own special freedom. So subhanallah al-azim, we are in very tough days. It's okay for the Ukraine to have freedom, but not for Palestine to have freedom. And the Russians attacking Ukraine, that's haram. That's, let's the court issue a court order right away. Right away, get Putin and then now you see very weak response that came after 7 months of killing and still they are like, as in Arabic they say, يقدمون رجلا ويؤخرون أخرى. They put one foot forward and another foot backward. When you are lingering, you are in your position, right? They're still scared, and those thugs, those cowboys, right? I'm sure you have seen the 10 MPs. They issued a statement that they will go after the judges of the international, after the judges, after their family members. Okay, you go after them. Okay, you have a trouble. What's with their children and their wives? And you cannot come to America. Oh, mashallah. It's like is heaven, Jannah, you cannot go to. Subhanallah. So this is the case, right? So the real freedom is you willingly submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is Islam, right? The religion of all prophets, alayhimus salatu wassalam. So when they died, those people, those righteous people, the shaitan inspired their people that you should set up, construct, right, idols, right, construct structures, monuments, whatever you want to call it, because some of it is on the shape of a person or a shape of animal, and some of it is just a building, like what they call the unknown soldier, or they put just cement stuff and that's it. Just to commemorate, So and where would they set up those structures? إلى مجالسهم التي كانوا يجلسون فيها. The places where they used to sit, the sites where these righteous people used to sit, go to these specific locations, those sites, and build up those structures, those statues, those monuments, or whatever you want to call them. وسموها بأسمائهم, and call these structures after their names. The Statue of Liberty, right? Right? So the statue of Wood, the statue of Suwa', the statue of Yaghuth, the statue of يعني shrines, you know, Al-Hussein, Al-Badawi. يعني the strange thing is Al-Hussein رضي الله عنه وأرضاه في الجنة. Where did he die? In Iraq, right? So he has one in Iraq, one in Syria, and one in Egypt. And how is this happening? Where did they have him in different pieces, and you know, some of them crazy. They say his head flew from Iraq to Egypt. Really insane, but this is how it is. And the other nations too, the Nasara and the Hindus and all of them, they have it. Buddhist, they have all kinds of these things. فَفَعَلُوا وَلَمْ تُعْبَدْ. So it was the shaitan that inspired them to do this. And they did, and they were not worshipped. In the beginning, they were not worshipped. حَتَّى إِذَا هَلَكَ أُولَئِكَ, up until those died. Those who built them, they know they did this. They know they did this because the ones who do it, right? They know what they did. There's a funny Egyptian saying, إحنا دفنينه سوا. We buried him together. What do they talk about? It's a funny joke, but some they say has reality to it. Two people, they had nothing to do, and they wanted to get some money. So they had, they claimed that there is someone who died, a righteous man died in a certain area, right? And they buried him. They built up a nice building, a shrine on it. Said, the grave of Sidi Fulan. The grave of Sidi Fulan. Of course, now the people came. They bring the rice, they bring the food, they bring money, and it's very strange. Those awqaf, just in Egypt, the money generated, the endowment that the people pay to these shrines, so much money. And you forget around the world. So anyhow, these two, they put that thing there. Allah knows what it is. It's a fake thing. Some people say it's a donkey even. They put it there. And then they said it's the grave of Sidi Fulan. And the people started coming to this. And so one day, it looks like they fought. They fought about the money. Give me this, give me that, That's not fair. Give me more of that. You took this. So one of them, he said to the, by Sidi Fulan, who's here, buried here, I did not do this, and I didn't take this money. And so he was like, you are making an oath by him, like we buried him together, You understand? Like I was there. Don't tell me Sidi Fulano. You tell the others, the fools that come and pay the money and all of that. But me and you, we did it together, so we know what we did. Don't claim that we, there is something sacred in here. Allah knows what it is. Right? It's funny, but the funnier thing and the so sad thing is that people believe this. People believe this. And they bring it all the way from their countries to here. I never heard about Nawaz Gharib except here in Toronto. And I thought it's like the name of the restaurant. But after that, Nawaz Gharib, he became, he's a saint that I don't know about. Just one of the zillion saints that exist. Right? So Allah al-Musta'an. قال ابن القيم رحمه الله, Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he said in the footnote, the Sheikh Ali, he said this in his book Ighathatul Lahfan, rescuing the anxious from the min masaid al-shaytan, from the plots, from the trickery of Iblis, right? This book, يعني, I mentioned before, يعني, I'm hoping and wishing that we will be able to go through it, if not the original work because it's big. If it's not the original work, then the summary of it or the مختصر of it, inshallah. He said, قال غير واحد من السلف, more than one from the pious predecessors, they said, لما ماتوا, when they died, عكفوا على قبورهم, they lingered around the graves. عكف, you know the word اعتكاف, is to dedicate yourself to be in a certain place, right? And since we are nowadays, the word encampment, right, is very famous these days because of those university students. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help their efforts. Last week I visited the encampment in the University of Toronto, mashallah. Hopefully Allah will help them in what they are doing. They're Muslims and non-Muslims, but united for justice, right? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward the Muslims in this life and in the next life. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide the non-Muslims to al-Islam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make their efforts, bring a conclusion. The University of Toronto is starting to negotiate, right? But they're still adamant. They don't want to cut the ties, but anyways, we'll see, inshallah. So عكفوا, so they encamped. They camped around, they stayed around, and this is what happens. This is what happens. Those people, they go there and they stay around the graves. I don't know if you've seen those people. They go to the grave, the shrine or the grave site. Some of them I've seen in the graveyard. They go there and they're spending the whole day around the grave. هذا هو الاعتكاف. You dedicate yourself to staying in around the site of the grave. And this year maybe you have a chance, try to look for it on the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah. I don't want you to waste your day of Arafah, but I'm just letting you know. This is in Egypt. You know how the Muslims are in Arafah? Large masses. In Egypt, every year, the day of Arafah, they go to this grave of Sidi Fulan, like 1 million people. From the morning, they stay there all day long. In Egypt, they come even the night before. Some of them sleep the night there, and they stay. Sidi Fulan. They're mimicking the crowds that are in Arafah. They are dedicating themselves around the shrine of Sidi Fulan, right? So when they died, they stayed around their graves. ثم صوروا تماثيلهم. They made statues after their images, right? صوروا تماثيلهم. صوروا, صورة, image, picture. تماثيل is statue, right? ثم طال عليهم الأمد. Then the amad, this shows up in Surah Al-Hadid. فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم. طال عليهم الأمد. The period of time, the time being long for them. فعبدوهم. So they worshiped them. So after long time passed, they started worshiping these idols shaped after the images of their saints or righteous people. وعن عمر رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, that he said عليه الصلاة والسلام, لا تطروني So in the footnote, the Shaykh here he says, من الإطراء, أطرى, يطري, إطراء. إطراء is the act. أطرى is the verb. وهو مجاوزة الحد في المدح. And that is passing the limit, حد, limit, boundary, passing the limit in praising. Right? To praise someone and go overboard in praising more than what is real. So if you praise someone more than what is real, what have you done? It's a lie. It's a lie. And they still do. It's very clear in those, subhanallah, yani the tyrants, right? They overpraise them. You think, well, he's a new prophet or something. And some of them, they call themselves that. Have you ever heard of so-and-so, the prophet of the desert? Rasulul Sahra, the messenger of the desert. Have you heard of him? He existed and he's history now. He's gone. He's gone, right? That's what he called himself. And in one of the interviews with one of the famous journalists, he was asked, were you a shepherd before? Did you look after sheep? He said there was no messenger except that he was a shepherd. Talks about himself. He's the messenger of the, right? So this one, he's praising himself. But then what about the others who are praising those people, right? So they praise them with things that, and like these days, those who have no shame to say the Israeli army is the most ethical, the most ethical army on earth. You wanna, I don't know what to say. They lie and lie in your face, and you're supposed to accept it. And after all said and done, they say, we don't believe that they had the intention of, right? We will investigate. We launched an internal investigation. MashaAllah, you the liar investigating himself, right? The established liar investigating his own self. Where is this happen? How is this happening? But this is the case. That's what we are going through these days of ours. Right? So, al-itra' mujawazatul had. So Rasulullah SAW is commanding the Muslims not to do that for him, alayhi salatu wassalam, because the Christians have done that for Isa, alayhi salatu wassalam. And he says, I am only a slave servant of Allah. So say the slave servant of Allah and his messenger, right? Alayhi salatu wassalam. And the Shaykh in the footnote, he said, look, انظر فائدة حوله. Check a benefit regarding this in the book at-Tawassul أنواعه أحكامه. Tawassul, its types and its rulings. لشيخنا الإمام الألباني رحمه الله. By Shaykh al-Albani رحمه الله. Maybe next time we'll see, see what, we have an excerpt from that, inshallah. أخرجاه, this hadith, they collected it both, meaning Bukhari and Muslim. Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 6830, and Sahih Muslim, hadith 1691. So again, if you do this in Google and go to sunnah.com, you will find the hadith. Bukhari 6830 or Muslim 1691, sunnah.com. If you Google that, it will take you to that hadith. وقال, and he said also عليه الصلاة والسلام, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, إياكم والغلو, beware of exaggeration. فإنما, extremism, going overboard. فإنما أهلك من كان قبلكم الغلو, for nothing destroyed those who were before you other than exaggeration. Or we can say, there only destroyed those who were before you, yani the previous nations. There only destroyed those who were before you, the exaggeration. The only thing that made them destroyed is exaggeration. In the footnote he says, رواه أحمد وابن ماجه من حديث ابن عباس صححه شيخنا في الصحيحة. Our Sheikh, he authenticated it in the Sahiha, Hadith 1283. Now, this footnote here for the Hadith number 41, إياكم والغلو. He said, وَلِي Muslim, Hadith 2670 in Sahih Muslim. عن ابن مسعود, on the authority of Ibn Mas'ud, رضي الله عنه, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال هلك المتنطعون. Those who go into the extreme, they are destroyed. The extremists are destroyed. The extremists are destroyed. 3 times he said it, عليه الصلاة والسلام. And Sheikh Ali in the footnote he said, المتنطع, متنطعون is the plural of one متنطع. The verb is تنطع, تنطع, يتنطع, تنطع. And the one who does it is متنطع. Right? He said المتنطع, we translate as an extremist. Right? The one who exaggerates. المتعمق في الشيء المتكلف فيه. المتنطع is المتعمق, the one who goes too deep in something. المتكلف فيه, the one who goes overboard. Right? يعني he doesn't keep to moderation. متكلف, he fakes. Right? He ends up in pretense. Right? Too much. And for some, this tanattu turns into waswasa. Yani. It becomes, he's never satisfied. You answer, they ask you one question, you answer. They ask again, more. Every time they go deep. What about, what if? If you go like this, you're gonna have to stop. Right? Because if you go like that, you're gonna turn insane. And mostly, those mutanatti'un, what happens to them? They stop. Some of them even leave the religion here. Right? Because they go too deep. They go too deep into matters. You start learning, they want all the knowledge to come at once. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to learn bit by bit, piece by piece. You start with small, you grow bigger and bigger and bigger. If you try to go deep from the beginning, there are things even the scholar explains it to you. You don't even understand it. You are not even able to comprehend the information that he's presenting. So he will tell you, leave this now, right? Until the time comes when you are able to digest it, right? But they don't want. So they're trying to digest more than they can chew, right? And therefore you have what happens? You have a problem. So هذا المتنطعون, هلك المتنطعون. طيب. He said فيه مسائل. In this there are issues. This chapter. الأولى, the first one, أن من فهم هذا الباب وبابين بعده, that the one who understands this chapter, the chapter of what? The reason behind the people falling into shirk, right, is exaggeration regarding the righteous people. This chapter. وبابين بعده, and 2 chapters that come after it, right? Similar talk. It will come in the next 2 chapters. He said, if you understand this, تبين له غربة الإسلام. It will become clear to him the strangeness of the religion of Islam. How Islam, as Rasulullah ﷺ said, بدأ الإسلام غريبا. Islam started as something strange. It was Rasulullah ﷺ only. And a few people who accepted Islam. And then started growing until it. So بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا كما بدأ. And it will turn back to being strange again. فطوبى للغرباء. Good news for the strangers. So the one who understands this chapter and the 2 chapters after it pertaining to this exaggeration regarding righteous people, he will see how Islam became as something strange. Because once you say, do not overpraise Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they will turn to say, what? Do not overpraise Saint Fulan and Saint Fulan. That's if they are saints. Some of them are not really saints. That's the sad part. Some of them have nothing to do, nothing to do with being righteous at all. And those people authoring books, and they say about their Shaykhuna Fulan radiyallahu anhu, right? He used to be naked in the they consider this as a miracle of his, right? He used to commit this and this very obscene fawahish, obscene sins, and they say he's a saint radiyallahu anhu, right? It went so bad, right? That's how Islam got so strange. Like I told you, they have the grave of Hussein radiyallahu anhu in Iraq, another one in Syria, and another one in Egypt, right? Zainab supposedly in Egypt, from the descendants of the noble family, right? Being worshipped there, and so on and so forth. تبين له غربة الإسلام. And every place you have those. In every country you have those. ورأى من قدرة الله وتقليبه للقلوب العجب. He will see from the ability of Allah, His power, and how He can change the hearts of the people. He will see wonders, Because one day you will find someone upon Tawheed, the next day you find him, he's with the people who, right? Just switch completely. الثانية معرفة أول شرك حدث على وجه الأرض. The second benefit or issue you get from this chapter is to know the first shirk, association of partners in worship with Allah, that took place on the face of the earth. That first shirk is أنه بشبهة الصالحين. It is through the doubt or the misconception of the righteous people. الثالثة, third, معرفة أول شيء غير به دين الأنبياء. Knowing the first thing that the religion of the prophets was changed with. وما سبب ذلك, and knowing the reason, what was the reason behind that. مع معرفة أن الله أرسلهم, along with knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent them, has sent the prophets. So the first thing that the religion of the prophets was changed with is this exaggeration in the righteous people. The reason behind that, right? And I keep reminding you of that scholar who went to the Sa'id of Egypt, right? and Sa'id of Egypt, still to this day they have Christians. And they came to that sheikh and they told him, we worship Saint Mary. And here, those Muslims, that there are Muslims also, right, in the Sa'id too, they are worshipping Zainab, the daughter of, from the family, right? Supposedly from the, if that's her grave truly, not Zainab, the daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's from the descendants named after her, right? So we worship Maryam, and they worship Zainab, and Maryam has higher status than Zainab. It's true, yeah. Right? So the answer of the Sheikh was, you are telling the truth. You are mushrikun. And those Muslims who say, they are mushrikun too. You are committing shirk and they are committing shirk. And inshallah, this is very basic. If someone worships Isa, he's kafir, he's mushrik. If someone worships Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then he is what? He is okay. But if he worships Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, no. If he worships Maryam, kafir, kufr, a'udhu billah. If he worships Zainab or Sakina or they have many saints, even even the Christians, they learned to confuse, right? They have Saint Fatima, Saint Fatima. You heard about Saint Fatima? Right? It's Christian, huh? Before the Christians, Saint Fatima. Right? It's okay, call her whatever. Do you want them to come to to worshipping the shaitan? That's what it is. So it cannot be that if you worship Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, that's kufr. And if you worship Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then no, it's okay. It cannot be. If you call upon Isa, if you ask Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, give me this, give me that, give me this, I need a job, that's what they do. That's what they do. If they do that with Isa, you say, a'udhu billah, kufr and shirk. And if they go to the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they say, Ya Rasulullah, I want a job. Ya Rasulullah, I want a boy. My wife is only getting girls. I want a boy. Please help me with that. Right? If they do that, that's shirk. It's shirk here and it's shirk there. There is no difference. There is no difference. So it doesn't matter what you call yourself. What matters is what you are really doing. And this is the case here. If they claim that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam knows the ghaib, he knows everything. He knows what was, what is going on, and what will be in the future. Right? That's what they do. That's what they say. Now someone comes and says, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he knows what was, and it is what is going on and what is in the future. Even some would say he knows the time, the day of the hour, which explicitly he said he didn't know that. They say he knows, alayhi salatu wasalam. And they twist, He didn't know then, he was told about it later on. MashaAllah, where is the wahi that he was told about it later on? There isn't. Right? But this is how they cannot say openly, this is kufr and we would like to follow this kufr. They're not going to say that. They are not going to say that. They have to go around it and present it in a different way. That's why he's saying here, you will know really how Islam became something strange. Right? I will stop here, inshallah. We call the adhan and pray, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Allah
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله